Speaking of the New Zealand team, the men, they're in Bangladesh, in Dhaka to be precise, playing 5 T20s. An interesting one where they've sent everyone who isn't in their World Cup squad in order to fulfil their responsibilities as a touring team, as a good global citizen. New Zealand are like, no, that's okay. We'll make it work. Nice contrast there between the way New Zealand interpret these matters and some other countries. So I think we'll see a lot more of that. I mean, look at what India did with Sri Lanka a couple of months ago. I was talking with Matt Floyd, my colleague from the Middlesex stream, who was over there doing that series, and his impression is that we're going to see a lot more of India being able to send two teams out at the same time where required if COVID continues to make travelling difficult. So New Zealand are in Dhaka on that basis. They got bowled out for 60 in the first game, which wasn't ideal. Mustafiza, who's had a really good couple of months, took 3 for... But then Bangladesh were able to defend 141 in the second game. Tom Latham, who's captaining this New Zealand team, made 65 not out, but it wasn't enough. They fell 4 runs short. And then, Geoff, in the third game, New Zealand bounced back. They bowled out Bangladesh for 76 after Henry Nichols made 36 not out to get them to 128 first. And our man Ajaz Patel, he took 4 for 16. Of course, we both loved the way that he went about it. Against England at Edgbaston a few months ago, earlier in the summer. But yes, he's making an impact with the white ball too.
He's one of those beautiful players who looks like a club cricketer, probably is a club cricketer, and yet just has the level of skills to be able to bump things up. I was just thinking that when you were talking about Matt Floyd and the Middlesex broadcast, if Felix runs the Oval Dream Boys, you and Matt Floyd could be the Lord's Stream Boys.
Oh, that is so good. Maybe we should be. Yeah. Floydie is an excellent cricketer. He made a first-class 100, Floydie, so for Oxford against Cambridge many years ago in the varsity game. So we used to play together years ago, so I'm sure he'll be up for that. Just before we move off Bangladesh, of course, I missed this when they pumped Australia a few weeks ago. They're actually not in the T20 World Cup. I mean, they could make it, but they've got to go through the qualification process. The ICC will have you believe that the T20 World Cup begins with, gosh, is it 12 teams down to 10 or something like that? But make no mistake, that qualification tournament just before is not the World Cup. It's a qualifier that happens just before the World Cup. So Bangladesh, under Mahmudullah, who's captaining them at the moment, will have to get out of a group that includes Scotland, Oman and Papua New Guinea. Now, on current form, they'll shit it in. But nevertheless, they are going to be playing. That might actually play to their advantage, actually, getting some cricket in. Which isn't practice matches, actually full internationals, match practice there in situ. Yeah. I think they're playing those they're playing those in Oman, aren't they? So that'll be before they move over to
Oman. Rob Guest.
They're going to knock the teams that don't win into the pool.
They're going to push PNG into the pool, push Oman, push Scotland into the pool.
If you're one of our new Indian watchers and listeners, that's going to be quite hard to explain. YouTube Man O Man 90s pool, and I don't know, you might find some fun stuff.
Can I also note that so I've been having some correspondence with Rushan Alam, who hosts the Bangla cricket podcast, who is completely perplexed that on various recent scorecards, including some from the BCB, they've been listing Mahmudullah as Mahmud space Ullah. And he's like, it's not two names. Rushan is like, this has never been two names.
Yeah.
There's never been any debate about this. What is going on here? But Mahmud Ullah has played a few games as opposed to Mahmudullah, who's
that's a real howler, especially if the BCB are putting out those cards.
I think it was a BCB one. I won't swear to it, but I think that was how it. Maybe it was on the. I think it was on the team sheet, on the paper team sheet that they'd printed out and handed around at the ground because someone had put a photo up of it. So yeah, apparently, or as per my who was there? Is it LL Cool J, right? With the Ma was going to knock you out. That was my favourite gag of the 2015 World Cup when Bangladesh took out England in the semis. Mahmudullah's going to knock you out. He did.